present with the exception of Jen Harris and Tina Wolf. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have the minutes before you. I entertain a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the January 27, 2026 school board meeting.
Second.
Thank you. The motion by Maury, second by Mike, to approve the school board meeting minutes from the January 27th meeting. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. You have an agenda before you. It is green because there is 2 changes or additions in there. Any other? I entertain a motion to approve it, and we can discuss it. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike and Marty. We have a motion to second to approve the February 10th school board meeting agenda as presented in the green agenda. Any discussion?
What was the change? Oh, the schedule?
Yep, and
Schedule and
resignation.
Oh, sure.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Trying to read.
With only 4 of us, it's kind of easy to see if no one's before it's not.
Kids mumble by.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to our celebrations of school community reports. We have with us tonight Nikki Hansen, our food service director from Tallheart Food Service.
Say food.
Hello, I'm Nikki Hansen. I'm the new food service director with Tallheart. Been here for only 4 months, so really new. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in culinology, which is food science and culinary arts. Graduated from Southwest Minnesota State University and have about 12 years of manufacturing experience in research and development. So I worked at General Mills for 3.5 years. Actually worked on the K through 12 food service team, and then made my way to C-stores, gas station food, and then eventually my husband and I moved back to our hometown, Fairmont, and worked for Fairmont Foods for 8.5 years, developing frozen food entrees. So then decided I wanted to change, and now I'm here. Welcome. Thank you.
So Nikki, obviously you said about 4 months plus on the job.
Not quite.
Not
4
quite
months.
4 months,
Yes.
but we're working our way towards 4
Yes.
months. One of the things, like, we've gotten to interact with Nikki on a lot of different levels, and continue to get positive remarks on the food service change to Tallheart from our students. When we do desired daily experience surveys, one of the things the students had on there was the variety of lunch options, and that received high remarks from our students when we put that survey out back in December. And I know we're working on another survey coming up, so why don't you tell us a little bit about that we're trying to partner on to get out to our constituents and families.
So Tallheart sends out a survey during the December, fallish, and then a second one in the spring, and it's kind of just a way for us to understand how people are liking the food service program, what they think of the food, and etc. So
I won't ask our teachers to come up and join you and give their perspective on the students, but I have heard a lot of positive remarks and increased participation. I know I've shared with you personally, but we'll share publicly. We have one of our children who is a little more selective eater than the others, and in past years, there were multiple times a week we would be making a lunch from home, and I think they can count on less than one hand how many times we've done that this year. So that's a testament to the great work that Tallheart is doing in the responsiveness. We had some, prior to you coming into the role, we had some growing pains into the new partnership and everything. Since you have come on board, you brought a positive energy that we very much appreciate, and in that time, we have only had positive remarks in terms of the operations and problem solving as we work together. So, short amount of time, but you're making a great first impression, and look forward to continued collaboration moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Could you share with us a little bit about the special days that the Tar has had? Like, I know there was one in the fall, and I think there was, did the most recent one happen, or is that coming up soon here?
It was just last week, wasn't
Yep,
it?
just last week, we had Chef John. He came in and had classes. He made dumplings with a couple of the classes, and then came into our kitchen and taught our staff how to make moon burgers, which were basically a burger and then with like egg and then like Asian type mayo and then homemade pickles with it. So, and then I think in December, kind of right when I started, close to a month in, I guess, we had Chef Brian come in, and he got to do Kids in the Kitchen. So we had brought 2 classes in, and they got to cook with him chicken and rice soup. I can't remember exactly what it was called. And then we served chicken and rice dish. I can't remember exactly, but it seemed the kids loved it, and it was fun to see the kids cooking and how much they enjoyed it. So it was pretty cool.
Lunchtime can become learning time too. So
Yeah.
see, yep.
Great, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to our superintendent's report and calendar. Superintendent Trejo.
Thanks, Nicole. You have the enrollment numbers updated in front of you. At the start of the second semester here, we've seen a dip in our enrollment. Current total enrollment, those are current present students at 1,673. That is not how the state calculates our average daily membership. So our ADMs, or in some cases our weighted average daily membership, and I'm not going to make Jessica explain how that's all calculated, but that's what the weighted average daily membership is, what determines our funding that we get per pupil from the state. So all this indicates the exact number of students in our buildings right now today. Does not directly correlate with the aid that we receive from the state capital. But always interesting to watch as our enrollment fluctuates throughout the year. So we're within a similar range that we've seen in the last few years, but a lower total enrollment that we've seen for several years now. A couple updates I wanted to give on some operations, budgetary planning, and referendums. At the last school board meeting on January 27th, the board, you collectively passed a resolution providing direction to reduce expenditures for the 26-27 school year. So processes have been put in motion to identify impacted areas as listed in the resolution. And all of our departments and operations at both buildings will be assessed for opportunities to reduce those expenditures. The dialogue at the last board meeting, you had also indicated a target of reducing our expenditures by approximately 2 to 3% of our total budget. We'll also consider opportunities in where we can increase revenue, as well as the areas that we're making reductions. So a lot of things that are revenue based, we haven't changed as a district for many, many years, which has been a testament to the budgeting process that you as a board and have overseen, but those will be areas we will look at. And one thing that's important to note, that a reduction in expenditures does not directly equate to a reduction in the work that is completed throughout the school district, or a reduction in our expectations of providing the highest quality education for our students. So there will still be observable work throughout the district. That doesn't stop, but nonetheless, we have to be mindful of our expenditures and working within our means. We also continue to work on assessing next steps for our buildings and facilities needs that cannot be accounted for using our annual operational funds that are restricted for the use of long-term facilities maintenance. We have an upcoming committee meeting with our operations team that's scheduled with ICS, our construction firm consultants. That will take place on March 5th. So they will be there to discuss with us next steps. potential timelines and/or project adjustments for a future building bond referendum in response to the vote that did not pass in the fall. Lastly, on the finance point, just wanted to make sure I continue to bring to the attention our school district's operating referendum that was initially approved by voters in 2016 is currently in its renewal window for you as a board to consider. Last legislative round, or might have been 2 years ago, the state legislature passed the authority for school boards to be able to renew an operating referendum one time for the same period of its distribution without going back to the board or to the voters. So you as a board will have until June 15th of 2027 to determine whether or not to renew our current operating referendum, allow it to expire, reduce the amount, or seek board approval for replacing the current with an additional amount to be added. Our current referendum provides $301.05 per student for a total of approximately $500,000 annually for district expenditures. That operating referendum will be reviewed by the board in the near future. We also have it on our operations committee discussion, and at that time we'll continue to share additional details outlining uses of those generated funds from the referendum. That was a lot of information, so before I go on to the next point, I'll pause there if anyone has any questions on those topics.
Operations, next one or in the near future?
Those will also be on that March 5th operations committee meeting that we have scheduled.
It's like a really big one then.
Yep. Any other questions on that topic? Okay, I will continue. Last week I was able to meet with Representative Olson prior to the start of the upcoming legislative session. This has turned into an annual cadence for us to connect, discuss current school district needs, as well as look into the future and talk about some potential action items related to statutory parameters as it relates to school operations. We did discuss the topic of instructional hours that have been in statute and some other statutes that haven't been reviewed or updated in many years by our legislation. So hard to determine whether or not any of those things will take hold in this upcoming session. But these interactions have been very positive to maintain connection at our state capital. Next, college and the schools planning. Principal Brusky and I have held meetings recently and had discussions with a few teachers regarding the potential of going back to school to earn their credentials. So with some staffing changes coming up, that we'll be able to maintain all of our college and the schools offerings into the future. So very mindful of that. On the backside, a lot of buildings and grounds updates that Tyler Garrison, our Director of Buildings and Grounds, and I discussed last week, moving into the future. One of those being the tennis court project bid award for this summer. That work will be taking place, a rather extensive project to update that surface and do those repairs. And then I mentioned this last time, I just want to continue to mention it as we look at next year's school calendar. We're looking at that structure. The state legislature did allow the flexibility for Minnesota schools to begin school on September 1st for the next 2 calendar years. So we're looking at that, as well as research on adjusting our school start times. So a lot of information there, but a lot of good work going down as we, at the district level, start planning into future school years. So with that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Superintendent Traina? All right, then we will move on to our financial business. Jessica.
Yes, you have a couple of different bill runs in front of you and wires and transfers since the last board meeting to February 4th. Nothing out of the ordinary other than our normal monthly expenditures on the
questions or discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you, motion carries. We have no old business, so we'll move on to new business. We have policy revisions, which is Appendix A. This is the Transportation of Public School Students Policy, number 707. As a committee, we met and we reviewed this policy and following legal consultation of recommended practices for transportation of students with disability and our research. We are recommending that the policy be updated to indicate that the district may refuse to transport a student to or from a care treatment facility for more than 64 school days or 3 consecutive months, whichever is longer, in either a school year or calendar year. And this policy and associated recommendations for additional language changes are included and for tonight's vote. So I make a motion to approve revised policy 707, transportation of public school students, as is noted in Appendix A.
So just that one paragraph in blue there, that's the only change in the policy on
Yes,
page 6
yep.
there?
On page 6, yep.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion by myself, second by Mike to update and change the policy 707 as is noted in Appendix A. Any discussion or questions?
Legal counsel helped draft that or advised on it.
Yep, I had contacted legal counsel. We also got some different policies earlier on from different districts that we had sent for them to review.
Okay, any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, motion carries. We have Appendix B, petty cash checking accounts.
It's the recommendation of Jessica Court and Stephanie Bujan to close the petty cash checking account for the CER group. The account has not had any activity in a long time. It's not needed any longer due to prior implementation of online registration systems and the use of district credit cards for expenses. So I make a motion to approve closing the petty cash account at Bank Midwest with the CER organization.
Thank you, Dan.
I'll second it.
I think we have a motion by Dan, a second by Mari, to approve closing the petty cash checking account for CER. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move to school board meeting schedule. It's being recommended that due to the number of school board members and Superintendent Trado being unable to attend our February 24th school board meeting, that we cancel that meeting and then meet as scheduled in March.
Make a motion to cancel February 24th, 2026 school.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Motion by Mike, second by Mari, to approve canceling the February 24th school board meeting. All those.
Thank
Any
you for
discussion?
making my schedule much easier that night too.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to personnel, retirement. We have Louise Osley, who is a high school science teacher, has indicated her retirement as of effective as of June 5th, 2026. Louise has served our district for 20 years since August 30th of 2006. I make a motion to accept her retirement.
Second.
There's a motion by myself and a second by Dan. Any discussion?
20 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had the ability to work with Louise as a colleague in the science department back when I was teaching 6th grade science and as an administrator in the building too. And she's done a great job and brought in, new learning perspectives, was discussing the modeling curriculum, a different way of processing science concepts. She's exposed a lot of our staff to that and really taken hold to it and just been obviously a mainstay in our science department for a long time. And when people get to the point to make the choice to retire, I think it's always a point of congratulations in their career for a job well done. And I always tell them they've earned it. And whatever future involvement looks like for them in the school district, our door will always proverbially be proverbially be open to them in whatever capacity that means. So wish her all the best. Obviously, a few months left in the school year. She's being very respectful of our needs in the hiring process and letting us know in a very timely manner. So much appreciated, and wish Louise all the best in her retirement.
Yes, thank you, well said. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Moving on to item B, resignation.
We have two resignations we're being asked to accept. The first is from Jocelyn Ward, an elementary special ed paraprofessional. Effective date, where is it? January 28th, 2026. And then Erin Perkins, a high school science teacher. That effective date would be June 5, 2026. Can I make a motion to accept the resignations?
Thank you. Thank you. Motion by Mike, second by Marty, to accept resignations of Jocelyn Ward, elementary special ed paraprofessional, and Erin Perkins, high school science teacher. Any discussion?
Don't love losing another science teacher at the high school on the same night, but we got plenty of time to prepare, and I appreciate that they, letting us know.
Yep, and he taught science his first year in the district. This year, he's actually teaching math. So he is dually licensed in doing both subject and content areas. So, yep, again, the timeliness definitely is appreciated during the process and processes.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Employment, item C.
Okay. Principal Rosen has recommended that Alexandra Mack be hired as an elementary long-term substitute effective January 28th, 2026 through June 5th, 2026. Superintendent Trado has recommended that Lee Stewart be hired as a manager of information systems effective February 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2026 for the terms outlined in the memorandum of understanding. And with that, I'll make a motion to approve the employment of Alexandra Mack, elementary long-term substitute, effective January 28th, 2026 through June 6th, 2026, and Lee Stewart, memorandum of understanding for manager of information systems, phased retirement parameters, effective February 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2026, and they're both in Appendix B.
Second.
And motion by Mari, second by Dan. Any discussion?
Let's add, for some context with Lee's, so we approved his retirement, and then we approved the hiring of Will McAdams as the manager of information system. And this approval is just outlining for record and future purposes that outlines the parameters of that phased retirement. So if the district were ever to need that documentation, or the employee for their phased retirement status per PERA parameters, that we have it documented and officially noted in board action.
So point of parliamentary procedure. We should probably have these in two separate motions.
Nicole just asked that, so,
Yeah.
so if you'd like to separate them.
Could you amend your motion to just include
The employment is
C1?
one,
Yeah.
and then we'll do the,
Okay.
Then I'm separate.
All right. I will make a motion to approve the employment of Alexandra Mack, elementary long-term substitute, effective January 28th, 2026 through June 5th, 2026.
Second.
All right, thank you. We have a motion to second for the employment of Alexander Mack and Lee Stewart.
No, motion is just for Alexandra Mack.
Oh, so we're not approving Lee Stewart and then doing the
Separate
MOU
motion.
separate?
Separate. This is a motion to approve Alexandra Mack, elementary
Okay.
substitute.
All right, and now.
No, we'll vote on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
All those,
That's right.
what Marty said. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Now,
Are there any other motions?
go ahead.
Okay. All right. I will make a motion to approve the employment of Lee Stewart, memorandum of understanding for manager of information systems, phased retirement parameters, effective February 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2026, and that is in Appendix B.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the employment of
No, we're not approving his employment, we're approving the memorandum of understanding.
the memorandum
having it be a separate item in our minutes. When we do those, it's separate, so.
That's,
we're
yeah,
protecting-
anything that has a memorandum of understanding should be dealt with separately.
Yep. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, motion carries.
Let's tell you, we talked a lot about it, we weren't sure.
It's the most time of ours.
It's so fun, it's so fun.
He's very, very happily letting everyone know that his Tuesdays are now Fridays.
Hey, somebody steal it.
All right, we have our policies committee reports. Since Shana's not here, Jen's not here, I'll just talk briefly about what.
The notes are actually over by Shana.
Okay. The policy committee meeting that we had, the main one that we talked about was the one that we addressed tonight. The student dress and appearance policy was briefly discussed. However, it's been tabled for future policy committee meeting. We're talking with the handbook committee, which has students and staff on it, and the principals, to see, make sure that our policy is reflective of what is actually realistic and what is actually done at the schools. We also talked about our post-insurance debt compliance, which was basically Jessica's area of expertise, and we're going to maintain the policy that we have with no changes. We went over the policies requiring three-year review, 701.1, 702, 703, 705, 6, 10, 11, and 720, and they were reviewed by the committee, but there were no changes except for abbreviations of words, things like that, not anything needed for board approval. We did the student activity account, policy 715, and that will be reviewed by the Director of Finance and Business Management. We brought back to the committee for a future policy discussion. We also, like I said, did policy 707, for transportation of students. So it was a productive meeting.
Thank you, and Jen and Shana for serving on our policy committee.
You are welcome. Okay. All right, and then we have our junior, senior high school student listening sessions today, of which Mari and I were at, and Belle was there, and so we'll let Belle talk about that.
Yeah, so today we had 9 through 12, as well as 7th and 8th grade student council members and school board representatives at this listening session with Superintendent Trado was there as well, and school board members and Principal Brusky. So talked about basically everything we could think of to talk about, from things like facilities, including more TVs in the school building, that's like passing time, as well as maybe transforming some spaces to be more productive work environments for kids. Then we talked about different academic things in terms of weighting grades and the conducting of semester finals and syllabus implementation. And then we discussed topics like student safety and daily desired experiences. We talked about some of those, the feedback that was given from those surveys, and we're able to give more depth on maybe what those responses look like and why they might have reflected that way in those results. So just more dialogue, and it's helpful to kind of have both administration and school board represented to be able to discuss things that can be implemented at a policy level here as well as an operations level at the school building.
Very, very good summary. Thank you, Beth.
I was just adding, like, we really enjoy these interactions because specifically our school board members don't get to interact with you as students on a regular basis. And I will tell you, like, the academic discussion that we had, it was probably at least half the meeting. It was phenomenal. Like Belle had said, from expectations for semester finals to expectations of syllabi from our teachers to weighted grading to class rank and how that's communicated to how our standardized tests and FastBridge and MCAs are administered to, like, all the details. And it was just representatives from students in, I think we had 9th, 11th, and 12th grade. I think we were missing a sophomore maybe, but just great discussion and in-depth and solution-oriented for presenting concerns, but also discussing ways to alleviate those concerns as well. And ended on positives and what they're looking forward to for the rest of the school year. many of them warmer weather, longer days worth of sunlight, their spring activities, but just very well-rounded discussion, and appreciate your preparedness
Yeah.
coming into that too, Belle. That was, you and your student contingency was very, very helpful, and gave us some ideas of where we can invest. One of the new ideas that came up that I have starred in my notes was potentially looking at the addition of individual study pods, where you see a lot of the collegiate level, where students that desire a more quiet, noise prohibitive experience in their studying can use those. I know I've taken advantage of them when at like different kids tournaments at a college campus, where I could go in and do some work between games and still be able to focus on that task. So that was one thing that came about, as well as the additional monitors in the hallways to help with passing time and things. So those notes are taken, and we'll reflect on what we can do to help make those ideas come to life.
I left that meeting filled with hope. It was so wonderful to see our students and the high expectations that they have for themselves, and also the high expectations they have for the staff at the school and their teachers, and that they really do want to learn, and they want to, they have high aspirations and high goals, and they have directives. They're very self-directed in obtaining those goals, and it was wonderful to see. And as a school board member, when we are in our meetings, we don't often get to see the direct impact that the decisions that we make has on our students, and that is really why we have a school board, is because of the impact that our decisions have on students. So it was very wonderful to hear their suggestions, to see how invested they are in the school and wanting it to be a great place for everyone to learn. And I really, really appreciated their preparedness and the dialogue that we had. So thank you, and it's honestly one of my favorite meetings of the entire year.
So I'd like to take it a step further. We need to be accountable to the students for action items, and so like I'd like this to come back in April. And I know, our seniors, I'm glad to hear it wasn't the seniors, because they're like, they're giving us their lived experience and good feedback and suggestions, but like to follow up with them, well, do they really care next year when they're not here if we actually did what we said we were going to do? So I think that this should come back in about 6 to 8 weeks, where we can identify like actionable deliverables that are requested of us. Nicole and I are in the handbook conversation committee. We talk about some of that stuff there, but like that's where the rubber meets the road. These policies and things that we want to do, we hear how not all of us have students that have that agency or in the school right now to tell us on the ground, and that's why these are really important. And I just want to make sure we don't drop the ball and say, hey, those are great ideas, so that next year we get similar feedback when we say the same thing, but those are really good ideas. Like, why can't we have 6 more TVs in the school?
We can.
We can. And that was one of my notes from the other day. It's like 6 to 10 more TVs.
Well, these aren't TVs for watching TV. These are TVs that actually help our students be responsible in their time management and learn how to manage their time.
Right. And they're super
yeah.
useful, and like, why can't we? Can we? Well, like, when are we going to order them? When are they going to show up? So hold us accountable. You come to all these meetings. Say, hey, remember Mike said a really smart thing about following up in 6 weeks? Like, where are we on the agenda? Please do that, because that's.
In the end of the meeting, many of the suggestions are very doable. I mean, Anthony was starring stuff. I mean, they're really some concrete things that we can make happen.
And I think calling them suggestions is appropriate, but like, they're also requests. And some of these requests, we should and we will follow up on. And so I'd like to be able to brag about us doing that in a couple months, and also give you a chance to say, hey, remember when you said it was a great suggestion? Where are we at with that? I love to give agency to the students.
So I can give you some things that from November till now, from the first time I met with them till now.
Yep.
So at the November meeting, one of the requests was for urinal dividers in our men's restrooms at the junior senior high school, and those were installed. Another request was additional mirror and counter space in the girls' locker room space, specifically for our dance team to have counter space and mirrors to be putting their makeup on as they prepare for their competitions. Those were completed. A third one was for an outdoor filtered water bottle filling station like we have throughout the building, to be installed outdoors at the field house for the spring season. That is on the work order once it warms up enough. So 3 recent examples of things that we talked about within months, and we already have a plan and or things have been implemented within a 3-month period to be able to take back to the students. Other things we talked about today, ACT test environment. 2 years ago, former student school board member Elena Hafner brought up some very valid feedback and concerns with a larger gymnasium-style testing environment. Last year, we made the change back to the classroom environment, which is more frequently replicated for national testing days. And the feedback that we got from Bell and other current seniors when they took that last year and just juniors was highly desired and very positive that we went back to that format. So there's a few examples of things that we've been able to already do, and then we have a couple more ideas now to follow up on for future feedback as well. So very valuable sessions. Just goes to show that we talked to them too today about the fact that we do listen, we do try to make sure we have examples of those things. While we may not be able to follow through on everything, if we're not able to, we should provide rationale to our students so they understand the scope of that work too.
And we do have, because of very generous donations to our school district, we do have funds that are available strictly for student enrichment. And some of those requests that have come from the students are very honestly student enrichment based. And so there are ways that we can, even though we're trying to make budget cuts, there are ways that we can fund those requests thanks to the generosity of our community members. So
I just wanted to mention it. It's been a long time since some of us have been high school students, and the job of being a high school student is ever evolving and ever changing. So seeing what you see through your eyes, from your experience, and hearing it from your voices is so valuable for us to help keep in touch with our jobs and what we need to do for you. So thank you for doing that.
thank you.
And one other note is that we also met with the 6th graders at the elementary school on Monday. So the future, hopefully leaders and student council members. So
All right, well, if there's nothing else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Dan. Second by Mari. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Aye. Motion carries.
Hard when you have to present. Yeah, typically we used to present in February. We did that already. Group project to give school board appreciation.
Probably the most pro student school board we've had in a long